Hello, everyone, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Eljay Johnsen Show. This show airs every single weekend, every Sunday at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, unless specified otherwise, over on Twitter at the Eljay Johnsen, where you can find updates and guest announcements every single Wednesday. And if you have any questions over the week, make sure you head on over to my email, ljjohnson@gmail.com. And remember, that's JOHNSEN. Okay, that worked like a charm. We've got plenty of email questions, and we have plenty to discuss. So let's get started. I'm very excited to have my current guest on again. He's been a guest before, but he's back in completely different circumstances. Just entirely different circumstances, and it is quite fascinating to discuss. He is an excellent system mockist who occasionally blends in a little bit of construction here and there. It is, of course, the fantastic Sokoda. How are you doing today?
Hi LJ, I'm pretty fine today. Had a nice day and I'm happy to be here.
Excellent. Good. I'm glad to hear that. I do have to ask, how is the weather?
So it was a pretty sunny day today for October, but it wasn't too hot, so it was pretty nice. And now it's night out
Okay.
here. Yeah,
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I'd say over here it's actually a bit warm. It's not too terrible. It's let me see here. So it's 21.8 Celsius outside. And that's going to be
that's
about 71 Fahrenheit, roughly in that
that's
ballpark.
pretty much room temperature.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's really nice. So, alright. Let me just go ahead and tweet this real fast. Because I thought I was very prepared. I was very happy, patting myself on the back. Yeah, everything's in place. I'm not forgetting anything. And I forgot something. But regardless. So let's go ahead and jump on into things. Since it's been a little bit, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell everyone how you got into Lego and how you got into the community and what you're up to right now.
okay, so I'm Sokoda. I'm mostly a system markist. I do a little bit of construction, and I mostly build digital marks. I'm from Germany, and I'm basically a Lego fan for all my life. My favorite themes are Bionicle, Ninjago, Star Wars, and I really enjoy those. So yeah, I can really remember how I got into Lego. I'm a Lego fan basically since I can remember, and I'm a Bionicle fan basically since I can remember. So not that interesting of a story, but I joined the community when TTV did their Bionicle G3 project, and I thought like the artwork, and I really liked the idea of System Bionicle, and I think it still shows that I like that idea.
What? No. No, there's something on screen right now that makes me think you are pining for Duplo Bionicle. I know it, okay? Deep down, Duplonicle is your true goal.
Yeah, it's Duplonicle, then Biocraft Lego sets, and then Bionicle Mighty Micros.
Ah, dang it! I totally forgot that you've made like a lot of really excellent mocks. Like even though I have some very muddy feelings on G3 or the Brickonicle project, your mocks were always the ones that were like, gosh, dang, that is a great realization of this concept or this concept. And
Thank
I'm
you.
I'm such a fan of Lego Minecraft, and of course I have a massive bias for Biocraft. That your Biocraft Minecraft mock was just so funny and great.
Thank you.
Gosh,
It was just an April Fool's joke, but a lot of people really liked
I
it.
gotta ask, did you think that we were gonna release Biocraft? Because you released it. Because full disclosure, we had no idea he was working on it. He never mentioned it,
Yeah.
never hinted at it. It just happened, and we were like, "Oh my goodness, that's really funny." Did you did you say?
Yeah, I think I told the story last time I was on. I was thinking like no idea that no way they're gonna release it. I'm just gonna build it a little bit for fun. So I really was under the impression you're gonna do some kind of joke video and that's it.
Oh my gosh! I mean, hey, that accomplished our goal, so I'm glad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, So let's go ahead and get into the meat potatoes of the discussion here. Obviously enough, on screen for everyone to see is The Legend of the Bionicle, celebrating 20 years of LEGO Stories. It's up on LEGO Ideas right now. I'll go ahead and post a link to that in the chat. And there's nothing Reddit can do to stop me. So go ahead and take us to the beginning, the time before time. When did this project start and how did it start?
So I had this idea like for, I think, more than a year basically that I wanted to do a Bionicle anniversary set. So way before the Lego Ideas changes, way before all that stuff, it was like, I think it was ending of 2018 where I started thinking about how I could do a anniversary set. And I was thinking a lot what encapsulates like most of Bionicle, the story, what are the important parts and lessons. And it's funny that we talked about it. The Biocraft model
Mm-hmm.
was a big inspiration for how I finally ended up doing it.
What?
Because I got quite some comments under my Biocraft mark for Sokoda, you should do like architecture sets for Bionicle.
Oh, yeah.
I think Kini even posted one of that, one comment,
That
and
rings a
I
bell.
was thinking, what?
No, no, that
What
rings a
did you say?
bell. I remember that.
Oh, sorry.
You're good.
Yeah, and that's when I thought maybe I could do like scenes from the story that are important for me or for the lessons Bionicle teaches as an anniversary set. That's basically when I started this this whole thing. Basically, it was in I think March or April this year when
Mm-hmm.
I started doing like concepts on deciding which themes I'd want to build. And when I was last time on your show, I already mentioned that I'm working on something for ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's around that time everything started basically.
Okay, I see. Now you had actually so this. Oh, what did I just hide? I'm very prepared. Okay, so this is a sketch that you made of kind of the diorama. It's you have the kind of hexagon. I believe that's a hexagon, and
Yeah,
with the three dividers, and then some sketches of some of the scenes that more or less ended up being a part of the structure itself. Now, how did you land on these specific scenes? Because I've seen a lot of people going, well, I would have liked to have seen this, or I would have liked to have seen that, and of course, picky choosy.
yeah.
Would have preferred this out of the other thing. So, how did you land on these?
So I was thinking a long time what is like the base story of Bionicle, what is the lessons Bionicle teaches in its story, and I think most of us can probably agree the three virtues are a big part of the Bionicle story. Unity, duty, destiny. These are like the things that are above all in the Matoran universe, and I wanted to have one theme representing each of the three virtues. So my initial idea was that the beach is the theme for unity because all the Toa wake up separated on Matanui and they have to unite in the O1 story to defeat Makuta. So it's always what has to be done in the scene to get to the goal, basically.
Mm-hmm.
The duty theme is Matoro sacrificing himself. It's his duty to save the universe. He has to pay the price. And the destiny theme is the conclusion. Matanui fulfills his destiny and reunites Virus Magna. This was my initial idea. One duty, one virtue for every theme, but it very soon came clear to me. Okay, the 2001 theme is also about destiny, and it's also about duty. So all the virtues work for the themes, and
Mm-hmm.
that's when I came up with the idea of making it rotatable. So
Mm-hmm.
the text underneath can be under the theme you choose, basically.
Oh, okay. See, I just thought that it being on a rotating structure so that you can just flip through the scenes. I thought that was just a neat feature so you wouldn't have to pick it up and move it every time. But that makes a lot more sense. I really like that.
it's like a double purpose that way. So you
Mm-hmm.
can display all the scenes easily, and you can also choose the text for the theme the way you want it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I also wanted to have themes from very different eras of Bionicle because I wanted there to be something for every kind of Bionicle fans. There were a lot of people who grew up with 2001, but there are also many Bionicle fans who joined in the later years.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't include Metro Nui, although I really like Metro Nui. 04 is my favorite year, but it was a hard decision. But in the story, it's just a flashback. It's a story told by the Turaga, and I thought, okay, it's not really part of the story because it's just a
it's
story told.
yeah, it's kind of like
Yeah.
pre-story.
Yes,
Yeah. No,
and that's why I made the hard call to exclude Metro Nui.
yeah, and I mean, in the end, I think that was a wise decision. Personally speaking, obviously, I'm massively biased toward this project. Like, massively biased. I think it right now has a really strong chance of achieving 10,000, and I think a lot of that is due in part to the structure of it. I think that it's really well composed, and I think that the scenes you chose are really, really perfect for this kind of a project. Yeah, obviously you have the beach, Matoro scene. I still think there are people with BZ Power signatures saying "Remember Matoro,"
Yeah,
and you hit every bracket of Bionicle: the beginning, the golden years, the Ignition trilogy, and of course the finale, the ending.
yeah.
So I think
You did
everything's very
that
wise.
poll on Twitter, and I was thinking, oh, now I'm gonna see if I chose the right themes, but I think most of them were pretty good.
Yeah, no, so
I was very happy about that.
yeah, I wasn't too surprised because for anyone that isn't aware, I posted a tweet on Twitter asking, "What is to you the most iconic moment in Lego Bionicle? What is the one moment that pops into your mind when you think of that theme?" And I asked, if you could share this around, that'd be great. I don't like to ask for, hey, retweet it, unless I'm just like messing around. Like I posted a picture of the G2 art book and in a Sharpie, and I said, "I'll
Yeah.
do it. You give 1 million retweets, I will mark this permanently." It never happened, so it's fine. Uh, but about 119 replies, and the vast, vast, vast majority of them were for scenes that are already in this.
Yeah.
They're represented here. Matoro, the battle, the beach. So, what would you
Yeah.
say while working on this? What was the hardest aspect to work on? Was it actually during it? Was it the pre-production stage? Was it the figures? What did you find to be the hardest?
I think the hardest aspect was first of all coming up with what to include and what not, and the base shape of the diorama. That took me a long time before I ever like laid a brick in LDD.
Mm-hmm.
But in the actual building part, finding the right size for everything was pretty hard. I experimented a lot with different sizes. So in the beginning, I wasn't even sure that Matoro is gonna be a minifig and Tahu's a microfig. So I experimented a lot with the size of the whole thing, and it was hard to find like the right balance so the set won't be like massively huge, but also to have enough detail to make all the scenes recognizable.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here, let me go ahead and get another picture that you sent over of one of the work in progresses. And I think this picture in specific is very interesting because it shows a very different direction that you were initially taking this. I'm just going to size that down just a little bit more. Thank you, program. You're such a good program. There we go. And so it's the picture of the large Matoro on the diorama, but with the beach, and you see the Matoran Universe robot in the background.
Yeah.
Um,
So
mhm.
yeah, I wasn't this whole minifigure, microfigure, and brick build figure idea. really came a bit later. In the beginning, I just wanted to, okay, how can I build those scenes, not thinking about the size. And after that, I decided, okay, how do I make it all work together? And that
Mm-hmm.
sadly meant I had to throw away my Great Spirit robot and my Matoro because they were just too large to make the set like the way I wanted it to look.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was a good decision after all, because a lot of people really like the Matoro minifigure, from what I've heard, which surprised me a lot because like a year ago, people really hated on Bionicle minifigures. Some.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I would argue they still do,
Yeah,
and
some still do, but I think it's gotten better.
yeah, I think,
And
yeah.
yeah, so I built a lot of stuff that isn't really there anymore in the final model, but I'm happy with the way it turned out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find that, obviously enough, people are incredibly resistant to any kind of change, anything that really alters their perception on something, anything that pushes them out of their comfort zone. I mean, I get
Yeah.
it. I get that way a lot. But,
Yeah, I mean, I get it as well. Bionicle was the construction theme, and a lot of people got in because of the set.
mm-hmm.
So I understand that not everyone will like change.
Yeah, and I think that for this, I think, honestly, the presentation really helps. The fact that the renders are very high quality and the detailing work is high quality as well does a lot to show people that this is a viable concept. Whether or not it'll happen is another matter, but at
Yeah.
least there's some substance. There is some. It's thought out. So,
Yeah, I think without the prints, it would be sometimes hard to tell if how this would look in the final product. But
mhm.
I think the prints, I put a lot of work into prints, but I think they really are very important to convey the model. I really hated my Great Spirit robot before I added the prints, basically.
I can understand because those prints really they kind of shape it in a way.
Yeah.
They do a lot there to illustrate what it is. Now, if obviously enough, provided that this goes through and is able to become a set, some of the prints are probably not going to make it through.
Yeah.
I can't
Probably.
I can't imagine that Lego is going to be too thrilled to print all of the pieces displayed. So to you, what would be some acceptable losses?
Um,
I know that's
Honestly,
a hard question
yeah,
because it's
it's
like,
a hard
well,
question.
they're all
But
in
I
there
think,
for a reason.
yeah, I mean, I made a lot of, I basically, for Matoro, for example, I made all the prints that Lego ever does. So side of the legs, arm printing, back, front, face, everything, because I wanted to show what is possible. Ideas projects aren't finished sets, they show what's possible.
Mhm.
But honestly, I wouldn't be too sad if the final set didn't have side of the legs and arm printing, for example.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be too sad about that. Or the leg printing on the Great Spirit robot. I don't think that's 100% necessary to show the scene.
okay, yeah, no, I
But
think those make perfect sense, and I think that's probably what could be expected of the Matoro minifigure. You know, just keep the legs and torso.
yeah,
But yeah, no, that's fair. Um, that this is something that hasn't gotten a whole heck of a lot of coverage. At least I know TTP hasn't talked about it too specifically because it was talked about, I think, on the last podcast. But outside of that, it hasn't had a whole lot of mention. Partially my fault. I needed to mention it during that 5,000 update. But you have made some additions to the mock. You've posted 2 updates. One of them is with a red star, green eyes for the GSR, and the Trina on Matoro.
yeah.
So let's go ahead and talk about that one first. What is your goal with posting this update? Is it just to show people, well, here's what this would look like, or is it to give kind of alternative suggestions to anyone that might be looking at the project and its progress thus far?
So a lot of the stuff I did in updates is motivated by comments of people. So I would love to see the Trina, how it would look, or I'd like to see if you could put in the red star. And I want to show people that it's all possible. It's nothing that can't be done with the model basically. So just different options. What could be there? It's ideas projects aren't finished sets. It's ideas basically, and I want to take ideas and show what could be done. So I just do what I can to make the things people ask for in the comments.
Okay. All right.
Although I have to say the Trina, I mean, a lot of people asked for that, but I had already prepared that one.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't happy with how it looked when I posted the model, so I didn't put it in the beginning, but then I finished it up a bit later, so I fit it in the first update.
Okay. I get that. All right. I will say, I think I might have mentioned this on the podcast. I think the updates are great. I want to get to the next one in just a moment because it's it's really good. Um, what has the reception been to the Red Star?
A lot of people. So I was asked if I could put in the red star as a print, so I did
Mm-hmm.
over the Great Spirit robot fight because I think you see it in the comic version of the fight, but you don't see it in the Matanui Chronicles version of the fight.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I didn't have it initially, but it could be there. So I made this image, and a lot of people said, "Yeah, you can also put it in the 2001 beach scene because I mean it's also important on that scene."
Mm-hmm.
So I put it on the wall between those two scenes, so you can flip the piece around basically. So it's on the side you want it to be, and yeah. Some people also suggested just doing a red stud, and personally, I think that works as well. It doesn't have to be a print.
Yeah, I think the print almost makes it seem almost kind of out of place sometimes.
Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting to see. No, you couldn't do that with a stud and a red axle. I don't think. Besides, that'd be blasphemy anyway. No, I'm kidding. But that'd be interesting to see how that is accomplished. Of course,
Yeah.
I'm not
I
sure.
could maybe do it in the next update. Try it with a stud or some kind of brick build version. I'll have to think of something.
That makes sense. No, I get that.
Yeah.
I think what really stole the show for for your second update was easily the Borak. And
People really like the Borog. Yeah.
let me go ahead and get that picture up on screen. Uh, I don't think anyone expected this. Did anyone ask for it? Were there a lot of
Yes.
people? Okay.
There was one person in the Lego ideas comments who said it would be cool if there was like a miniature Borog, although I know it's not in the scene normally or something like that. And then I thought, yeah, I'd really like to do a miniature Borog. And how can I hide it basically in the scene? And I think it makes sense that he's behind that gate. And I think that was a really funny idea to get it in there.
Yeah, no, I honestly think that's really clever. Obviously, from a design standpoint, and then more of a symbolic standpoint, because the Borak, I mean, that's the entrance to the nest.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Had to rework the stone structure a bit to fit it in there, but I managed to do it that it didn't change the outside look too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it. I've got some experience with messing around with that structure and not changing the outside appearance. Stupid Biocraft map. Gosh dang it, that thing was so difficult to work, and then sometimes it just traps you in the door and you suffocate and die on the beach, but then you respawn on the beach, so it just taunts you. Sorry. But I also love the choice of piece that you used for the Borak because it's a voodoo ball.
Yeah.
And those can be printed on. We've seen them printed on before with Mixels.
Yeah,
So
Nexonites.
yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. And Nexonite. So it makes perfect sense that that would be what you use. So overall, when it comes to fudge, I totally forgot. The Motoro face. What has been your reception to the face, the Metru head for Motoro?
I had this face for a while. I already made concept drawings, but I didn't really like it. I think Bionicle faces are always a bit weird.
Mm-hmm.
And the reception has been better than I expected. There was, I think, only one person I've seen who didn't like it, and the others all said it's a good mix of miniature face and Metru head.
Mm-hmm.
So it's better than I expected it to be, the reception.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Okay, I can get that. Yeah, I definitely think you did the best you could with the Metru face. Because you're right, Bionicle faces and heads are peculiar. They're certainly abstract. So having this as it is, I think, is pretty good. Though it also wouldn't surprise me if Lego were just like, take it out. Because, I
Yeah.
mean, he's wearing a mask. So
Yeah,
that's what they did for Roadhog.
yeah, or Genji, or
Yeah. No, exactly. So right now, the project is standing at about 7,367 people, which is excellent. It kind of blew past 2 milestones in less than a week.
yeah.
So it's gotten quite a lot of progress. Is this about where you expected it to be right about now? A little behind, a little ahead?
Honestly, it's way ahead of what I expected. I've done ideas projects before, and I never got past like I think 400 supporters.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it would go better because of the 20th anniversary aspect and stuff like that, but I think 5,000 is what I thought it would stop there basically.
Mm-hmm.
So it's better than I expected, but now I'd love to see it go to 10K.
Yeah, see, you're real close now. It's like, oh, come on, we're almost there. Now that it has gotten as far, and it's nearing that 10K margin, with the benefit of hindsight, are there any changes that you think you can see yourself making to it that maybe you hadn't considered because it's like, well, let's see what people think, let's see the reception, let's see the critique. What is something that has stuck out to you that you would have liked to have known going into this when you submitted it?
It's a good question.
I try.
Yeah. uh, I I think it would have been good to know that the people will like the minifigures.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I made the model, I was under the assumption that people won't be too happy maybe about Bionicle minifigures. But the most comments I got was like, or the most criticism I got is like, I'd love it to have more minifigures.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if I knew that before, I would have done the model a bit different so it would include more minifigures.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but I think it works the way it does now, and I might also be able to do something in update.
Okay, I see. Yeah, I saw some comments going, well, I would have loved to have seen all of the Tomata. And of course,
Yeah,
I'm super biased in that regard. I would obviously love to see all of the Tomata, specifically
yeah,
Liwa.
I want to talk about that.
Okay, go
That's
for
what
it.
I've been seeing a lot, and I didn't do it for three reasons basically.
Mm-hmm.
The first reason is 6 minifigures is quite a lot. If I put 6 minifigures in a set, um, and everyone is like, yeah, we need those minifigures, maybe Lego would say, okay, we can't put 6 minifigures in this, so we won't do the set.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is I can't do like new pieces. So I'll use this method where I print on this Iron Man helmet piece for the Ignika and the Trina, but I think that really wouldn't work out with the Akaku, for example. So I don't think I could pull off a good Kopaka this way, and I don't wanna. Oh, I'm not allowed to do new molds or anything,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't think that's really possible. And the third reason is only because I put in all the 6 Mata in the set, this doesn't mean that the final model will also include all the 6. A lot of ideas sets have been changed. The minifigures included have been changed around a lot. So just because something is here or isn't here doesn't mean it will be in the final set.
Okay. Now there is. I'll mention this comment first. We're about to get into the question segment because we actually have a lot of questions, so it's good to do that a little earlier than later. Tesla Effect in the chat has been asking, and I've seen his comments in other places. Would it be possible to have the Toamata as microfigures?
I mean, I could definitely do this. I have the Tahu prints and I could slightly modify it to do the other Mata. So yeah, I could make them, so that's not a problem. I just wouldn't be too sure if Lego would include them only because I put them in the project. But making them wouldn't be a problem. Minifigures is more of a problem because of the masks.
And that makes a lot of sense. I can understand that. Yeah. I think probably the only way that you would be able to do that, if you were to do, like how you did the Kanohi Ignika, if you were to do that for the other Toa, you'd probably be able to get through with everything but the Akaku. The Akaku would very possibly need to be, I mean, if I had to make a recommendation, you remember General Cryptor from Rebooted Ninjago?
Yeah.
Yeah,
His
that.
ninja hood.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's got. Well, let's see. The Akaku has the telescope on the right side. Yeah, and so does that.
Yeah. But I think this might be really weird looking because of like the ninja stuff he has over his mouth is like all wobbly and stuff.
Yeah.
And if I print on that, it looks all weird. So, and the Kakama I think could also be a bit problematic because of its very angular shape. I think the other Mata masks could probably work with that piece. Yeah, I've been thinking about how I could do it. I've now decided to go more the route of, so I'm working on a couple of minifigures I want to include in the update, but it won't be all the Mata. It will be a mix of different important characters, in my opinion, from different times of the story, and I hope that I can pull all of them off.
Fantastic. Oh, I mean, I'm confident you can. Obviously, I'm on the Sokoda fanboy train like Meso is. It's like, all right, he can do it. He's our man. If he can't do it, no one can. You know, that kind of thing.
I can probably, the first minifigure is done, so I could send it to you and we could preview it here.
That is totally up to you.
If you want me to.
That is absolutely up to you. If you want to, that would be great. But if not, I mean, that's fine.
Would be cool, so we could probably get a bit of feedback from the chat if that's like okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, not a problem at all. And then once you show that, we'll go ahead and move on into the question segment, which some people have believed to have been started, but it has not. I'm sorry. It didn't start yet. I said it would be starting, not that it had. So for anyone that would like a link to the project, I'll go ahead and post it again in the live chat. However, it will, of course, be in the description below eventually. So once this is out, it will be there for you to support it. So, okay, let me go ahead and get this up on screen. Save. If you're going to save this image, computer. All right. There it is. Okay, so this is, well, I'll let it kind of speak for itself in just a moment. I think this is going to excite a lot of people. All right, everyone go ahead and feast your eyes on this. Goodness, this looks good. So go ahead and talk a little bit about the process behind this specifically.
So with minifigures, I always, or at least for this project, I draw them how I want it to look, and I just put my Tahu next to me and looked. And for example, I made photos of Tahu from different angles, put them in some kind of image manipulation program, and drew the lines basically where the angles of his armor are. And then I have to look, okay, what lines can I simplify so it still looks like Tahu, but of course there's a lot less detail on a minifigure than a construction figure.
Mm-hmm.
Then from then I'll just have to work on, okay, what shapes do I put where, and like how do I show, like there's an axle, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay, my goodness. That I think I particularly like the torso. Oh, okay, I like the mask. I like the mask a lot, and the mask is really you've got this really great illustration of it in that the face of it is what captures it, and you don't need to worry about making the shape of the mask. The helmet takes care of the general shape, but you
yeah,
illustrate what it is through the facial details.
yeah. It's I can only like print a flat image on that shape, and I have to convey basically the shaping of the mask's face only through printing. That's a bit of the challenge in making those mask prints,
Mm-hmm.
but I hope it kind of worked out.
Mm-hmm. All right. So as far as feedback is concerned, it looks like the most the two things people seem to be most critical about would be his sword, given that
Yeah,
a lot of the hilt is orange. But I get what you were going for there.
yeah. It's
It's like
the
it's like his
Mata
hand.
arm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And then the amount of printing, and then possibly some of the detailing on the torso.
yeah.
Uh, I think Tesla Effect kind of sums it up very well. The printing is a bit too much. Lego would never make it this good. But yeah, I think
Yeah,
some of the prints can probably be dialed back
toned
a little
down a
bit,
bit. Yeah,
even though they're really spot on to what they're trying to represent.
yeah. I'm yet not too sure if I should change it before uploading it. If I should dial it a bit down, because I mean it's not the finished model. It's
Yeah.
just showing what can be done.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll maybe look over it again. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. But goodness, I love that mask, and I also when it comes to the sword, I personally think that the orange lightsaber hilt piece makes sense. Though I can see why others might disagree with that and might want it to be red so it looks more like the longer blade.
yeah,
So now I'm just sitting here thinking thinking about a Miru. Like and then I think about the cow and the
the
Picard.
Miro would probably be one of the easiest to do, honestly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Especially for this.
yeah.
Now, I am curious. I'll ask you this, and then we'll go ahead and move on to questions if you're down for that.
Okay, yeah.
Uh, when it comes to the masks, let's say Lego were to make a set with all six of the Toamata as minifigures, and let's say that they used this helmet design. Do you think they would use the helmet? They would make the masks in their individual colors, or they would make all the masks gold?
Hmm.
Because right now, I think, gosh, I am going to find out exactly how many colors this helmet piece is in, because I actually don't know.
I think it's in light gray, this red, um, and dark green,
Is it in dark green?
black. In what? Dark green?
Yeah.
It was in the Vulture from Spider-Man
Oh, that's
Homecoming.
fudge. I totally forgot it was in that set, and I own it.
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah, that's one of my favorites. Huh? It exists in dark green. Great. I'm doing great today.
I think, yeah, probably it might be easier for them to just go gold for all of them, so it's just one recolor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured they would kind of gun for. Finally, I found the piece. Uh, Oh, no. No. Bricklink lists the piece as... It lists it separately for every
Yeah, for every
printing.
printing.
Ah, nuts. It's going to take me some time. I'm not going to do that right now. So, okay. You want to get to some questiones?
Yeah, of course.
Alrighty. In that case, let me go ahead and get the image recentered. There we go. Let's jump into some questions. So, let's go ahead and open them up for the YouTube live chat. So if there are any posted earlier, go ahead and repost them so I can make this the official start of the questions. In the meantime, emails. All right. So the first question, the first email is actually not a question, I don't believe. Okay, no. It's kind of a question, kind of a statement. So we'll go ahead and start from the beginning. This is from Ty. And Ty says, "Hey LJ, before I talk about the show, I just want to thank you for your recap reviews. They helped me get back into Bionicle. Many thanks to you." You're welcome. I'm very glad that you enjoyed them. As for the show, with Sokoda, I really want to know what inspired him to translate those 3 moments into Bionicle's history and into the normal LEGO system. Another question for him is if he thought the set he created would get this big so fast. That's all I could wish for him That's all I could wish from the next show. I'll tune in ASAP. Keep up the great work.
Okay, yeah, I've answered some of this. So
Yeah,
the
we've kind of
themes I
touched.
chose, because the 3 virtues, as I said before, and like I think they are also important themes for the story and from different eras. And no, I wouldn't have thought that we'd go this far, and especially not this fast. So yeah, I'm surprised myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And why I chose system is A, because I like system. I'm a fan of system, and B, because ideas doesn't allow new molds or anything, so it's a bit harder for construction. And the old molds for a lot of old Bionicle pieces, they don't have anymore, as we learned the last time I was on.
Mm-hmm.
So we probably have a better chance going with system if we want it to be a real set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I agree with this methodology. I definitely agree with the thought process there. I think that it's a lot riskier to try and pitch a construction with old pieces to Lego now because they're not as likely to utilize them because the molds are no longer in production. Like they don't
Yeah.
use them and they probably don't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
So that makes plenty of sense. Okay, next question is from Lego David, who asks, if your project reached 10,000 supporters, bracket, which at this point it's almost certain that it will, bracket, but Lego didn't approve it, what would you do, and what would be the community's reaction if that happened?
So, first about the brackets, I'm not too so I wouldn't be saying it's certain we'll reach it. We can't reach it if no one supports it, so we can't be too certain yet. And if it didn't get chosen, so I mean I'd be a bit sad, of course, because I'd want it to be chosen, but there are a lot of reasons why projects don't get chosen. So there can be like they can't pull it off, or they do like market research and see, okay, maybe we won't be able to sell this a lot. So it wouldn't mean necessarily that Lego hates Bionicle, what a lot of the community might read into this. So I'd hope the community wouldn't be like infuriated if Lego chose not to make it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I can agree with that, because I don't think the community would receive it very well. That a lot of times in conversation, Lego is this ethereal being who decides what it does and doesn't like on a whim. And if it doesn't acknowledge something, or to people doesn't acknowledge it in an appropriate manner, it's deemed that it hates whatever that is. The ethereal Lego hates Bionicle because the image of it just so happened to line up with the dialogue and some other themes we don't need to talk about right now. in the Lego movie. So clearly, the theme is mud to Lego, right? No. So, I agree. Okay, next question is from Sir Lojon, who asks, firstly, a few usual questions. Firstly, if you could switch the runtime of any two LEGO themes, for instance, having G2 run as long as HF and vice versa, which would they be?
Hui. How long's Duplo been going?
Ooh, that's a good question. Let me check. Brickset, come here. Duplo. Alright, it's just loading. Okay, view all matching sets. Year. It has its current iteration. Oh. Oh no. Oh gosh. Oh jeez. So if Brickset is to be believed, it has had a release every year since 1969.
That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'd switch Duplo with Bionicle G1.
Gosh dang. That's smart. I had not considered Duplo before. All right. His other question is, if you could have any two Lego themes crossover, what would they be?
I'm gonna go for the boring answer and say Ninjago and Bionicle. I'm a huge fan of both, and I just love to see some kind of crossover. I don't know how it could be done, but I want to see it.
Mm-hmm. No, I get that. Okay, so he has another question. He has three more questions for both of us. One for you, one for me, and one for two of us. The one for you is, how do you feel about essentially being the Bionicle community's chosen one?
I don't see it that way. I just build a mock and put it up on Lego Ideas, and people seem to like it and have supported it, but I don't think I'm like a chosen one or anything. I just want to make this set happen, and I'm doing what I can.
Yeah, no, I think that's the right way of looking at it. And I'll tell you right now, the Bionicle subreddit sure doesn't see him as the chosen one. Calling you out, subreddit. All right. His question for me is there a particular day that you upload the recordings? Yeah, kinda. Well, okay, so I don't ever upload them. They're always just kind of saved to the cloud for YouTube. So I publish them generally when I make the announcements. So that's usually on Wednesday. But sometimes it'll be earlier. He had an off-air question that I would just say, just resubmit it. Just make whatever modifications and resubmit it. That's fine. And then for the both of us, if there were to be a new construction theme, what kind of scenario would you want? Sci-fi, fantasy, mechs, etc.
It's a good question. I'd like to see mechs. I think mechs could be cool because you can bring system and construction together, and I like doing that. So a mech theme could be cool, and mechs are normally more on the sci-fi end. So I'd go for a sci-fi mechs theme. That would be cool.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm down for mechs. I also get my mech fix from Ninjago.
Yeah.
So I think I'd kind of like to see what a castle theme would look like now, like an older kind of classic castle theme. Because I never really got into castle when it was out and about, so it'd be neat to kind of see a realization of that, I suppose.
A bunch of construction Reinhardts.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm looking at my Reinhardt right now. He's glaring at me with his lack of knees. Okay. All right. Shake it off. Shake it off. Okay. Next question. Flaming Ninja asks 3 questions. 1. Sokoda. Have you ever thought of doing tutorials for digital building techniques, e.g., Studio, LDD, etc., if you use those, and on designing custom decals for digital Lego parts?
I've never really thought about doing a tutorial, so no, I haven't thought about it. Also, I don't know if I'm honestly the best to teach something like that because I'm sometimes a very chaotic builder. And for my decals, for I had a template for my Bionicle stuff, but for the new ones, I'm basically starting on a blank screen and just start drawing lines. But I don't know if people are very interested. I could maybe share some of my things I've learned over the years.
Okay. All right. Well, you weren't thinking about it before, but you thought of it now.
Yeah.
All right, next question is Sokoda and Eljay, what are some sets you look forward to seeing if the Ninjago Legacy sub-theme continues? This means sets that have been made before being redesigned, not new sets based off of old concepts. Additionally, how do you think the rumored Ninjago Legacy 2 line will fit into the TV show, if at all? I don't know if it will necessarily fit into the show because the last Legacy theme didn't outside of the
Yeah.
monastery, and I mean that's just the monastery. It's the only one that
Yeah.
happened to
Just the
tie in.
place.
So I think it's gonna be about the same.
Yeah, maybe they'll do some mini movies again, like they did the Legacy shorts.
Oh yeah, no, I could see that happening. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
but not necessarily, maybe. Yeah. And a set I'd want to see a revamp of from the earlier years of Ninjago. I'd I'd like to see maybe uh, a revamp of the Ninja Copter from Rebooted. I think that could be cool.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I'd kind of like to see there was a set based. It was the from Rebooted, the Cole mech, and then Jay's like little craft thingy.
Yeah,
I'd like to see that again. I mean,
yeah, that's a cool one. Yeah.
I already have the one that they made, but I'd be interested to see what they did to change it. That'd be cool. Okay, and Flaming Ninja's last question is also LJ. I asked this last week, but I do not believe it got through. You are correct; it did not. It was a little under the wire. Usually, after I do the email segment, I don't. I close out of the emails, so it's after that point. It's best to just send a message on the live chat or Twitter. Um, will you try to build a Digimon Lego Ideas project? I asked this query because I believe the IP is now confirmed to be allowed on Lego Ideas. That would be awesome, but probably not. I probably would not be the right guy to make a Lego Digimon Ideas submission. I like Digimon. I'm a fan of it, but it probably isn't it isn't something that I have been actively invested in a while, and I don't think I'm the right person to facilitate that. So I think there are other people who would be far better skilled and far better motivated and passionate about doing that than I would be. So, okay. Spiang asks this is our last email. 1. What other scenes, if any, did you consider displaying instead of these 3?
Okay, so one thing in consideration was to do a Metro Nui skyline in one of the dioramas, like a really miniature of the Metro Nui with the Colosseum and stuff like that. That was a scene I thought about in the beginning. Also, the instead of the Great Spirit robot fight, just the Matanui Awakening or the Great Spirit robot just dragging the moons to Spherus Magna without having the other one there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think what else did I consider?
You could
Oh yeah,
also
Takanuva's transformation was also in consideration. Yeah.
okay. That was a very popular one I saw in
Yeah.
response to that tweet. So I get that. Okay, I mean those are some really good ones. If I could recommend one of the most iconic moments from the entirety of Bionicle, then I mean obviously it's Liwa's awakening and flying through the jungle and swinging on vines. Very iconic, very popular, very important.
Liva versus Onua.
Gosh dang it! I should have said that. I mean that's my favorite fight scene in the entire theme. It's just so. I mean, it kind of changed the ball game. I could go on for that. Let's focus. Okay, focus. Spiang's other question is, and I think you already answered this. How long have you been working on the project?
Yes, so really started building. I think I think I have the date. It's on 31st of March, May, and
Mm-hmm.
and concepts way earlier. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so it honestly hasn't been that terribly long.
Yeah, I've put a lot of work in that one, so it's got prioritized over a lot of other stuff. I got to catch up a bit on my weekly builds.
Yeah, I noticed. I keep on meaning to reply about the weekly builds. So I always see them, but then I get sidetracked. And then I just like, dang it, I forgot another week. But I always see them and they're always great.
Thank you.
Okay, now then. The YouTube chat questions. Gotta scroll up now. Okay. Okay, so Tesla Effect asks, do you guys remember that Glatorian heads had an Iron Man head, and these minifigures use an Iron Man helmet? Coincidence? I think not. I like that. I like it a lot.
Gotta print those creepy Legend Reborn teeth on the.
Oh, you got to make it like two-sided face, so one of them is Matanui smiling, and the other one is him laughing, like with that awkward ha 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 ha, ha laugh. No. All right. Boydo asks, could you add some Rahi, such as Fiku?
So there are some Rahi in the Matoro scene. First of all, there's the squid and the I don't know what's the other thing called. Yeah, there and a little crab. But in the Great Spirit robot fight, I think any Rahi would be too small to see in scale. And in the beach scene, the only Rahi that would be there might be some birds or something. So I don't think a lot more would really fit the themes I chose.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Also, real quick, Philip Cardillo said, I think WoW, World of Warcraft, isn't allowed just because of the name, which I would like to remind you, one of the most popular LEGO themes right now is Star Wars. So I'm not sure if it's entirely because of the name.
I think World of Warcraft isn't allowed because Mega Bloks or someone else has the rights, and themes where another competitor holds the rights aren't allowed on LEGO Ideas.
Yeah, no, I think that's about right. So Pokemon probably wouldn't go, because I think Mega Bloks has that too. Okay, Brother W asks, 1. Opinion on The Last Jedi.
I've been asked that one last time,
Yeah.
and I'm not a Last Jedi hater. Do I think it's the best Star Wars movie? No, it's not. I also don't think it's the worst Star Wars movie, and I still enjoy Star Wars even after The Last Jedi, so I don't hate it. I don't think it's the best one.
Are you planning on seeing the Rise or Fall? I don't remember the name of the title. Skywalker?
Rise of Skywalker? Yeah, of course. I'm a Star Wars fan, and I'm gonna watch the movie, of course.
All right, cool. Okay, and yeah, we asked last time. 2, have you ever excuse me, have you ever eaten a mangosteen? Which I believe we also asked.
Yes. Yeah, I have. I like them.
Perfect. Excellent. 3, and I'm pretty sure this is asked as well. Pineapple on pizza? Yay, nay?
I think that wasn't asked last time, as far as I
really?
know, but I like pineapple on pizza. I don't have a problem with it.
Nice. Yes. And then finally, how was your day?
My day was pretty good, pretty chill day, so nice day. And yeah, now I'm having an exciting interview.
Fantastic. Awesome. Oh gosh. All right. Tesla Effect asks this. What would you do with all the sweet Lego money if this becomes a set? Would you buy off the Platinum Evoke?
I don't think I would spend it on the platinum Evoke.
Yeah, that's fair. It's a little expensive.
It's quite a bit of a price.
And I'll tell you now, I've held it. It's a neat mask. I would not
That
spend
must
that
feel
money on
great.
it. And what was that?
That must feel great just holding it.
It was cool. What wowed me a lot more was a prototype Liwamata, because that has more
Yes.
intrinsic value to me. But the Platinum Evoke is neat. It's heavy. It's a heavy mask.
Yeah, just wanted to ask, is it heavy?
Oh
Because
yeah.
I won one of those RSG metal masks in a contest, and I was really surprised how heavy it was
I
when I
it,
first got it.
I think it's a little bit heavier than one of those,
Yeah.
just because it's a denser metal. But yeah, no, it's hefty. Honestly, I think it's a comparable weight. Okay, I hesitate to say it's comparable to the weight of my mask, my Miru, because obviously the
Yeah.
Miru is much larger, so it's going to be heavier. But I don't know. When I think of the weight, I think of them in relation to each other. So I don't know.
Okay.
Professor Sir Lojon asks, you said you would look at the Keyforge topic. I don't want to be pushy, but what happened to that? I appreciate the reminder. Work happened to that. That's exactly what happened. It is very difficult for me to get around to things, especially now, because I am working, and it eats up a lot of my week. So, that is what happened. Okay, next question. Anonymous Sour Cream asks, how long... Oh, okay, we've kind of gone over this. How long have you had the idea for the set ready, and how long have you had it made? And which we've already gone over.
Yeah.
Tesla Effect asks, what was your entire experience creating, participating, and winning the Bionicle set project?
What? What's the Bionicle set?
Yeah,
I don't know what he's talking about,
I'm
really.
spacing, I don't recall.
If he means like participating in the Bionicle project, just building marks, I have very fond memories of the boards, like this, all the discussions that happened there once Bionicle was still an active project. So I had a lot of fun at that time. If he means that, I don't know.
Because I know there was a kind of...
There was a contest, yeah,
Yeah,
but I didn't enter. I didn't know about the project back then.
yeah, I think it would have been very likely you would have won that. Granted, I know
The
which...
winner was really great.
Yeah, no, the winner was pretty fantastic, and he did bring it to Brick Fair, so we got to actually see it because it was a physical mock, and it was
Yeah,
really good.
it's a fascinating mock.
Oh yeah. So, actually, have you ever considered trying to make this project physically? Do you think you have the pieces for it?
No, I don't. So, especially there are recolors in colors that don't exist, and I don't think I have a lot of the pieces I need to build it. So,
Okay.
probably won't be building it.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Okay. Tesla Effect also asks. First of all, Lego Master was asking about the source of the molds being retired, and according to someone else in the chat, the source is Brick Thing, and he comes to the realization, but Brick Thing is Nick Voss. Nick Voss is a Lego designer, so if he's the source for something,
Yeah, you asked him during the last time I was on.
yeah. So yeah, he's a good source to get things from, and he's also a really good guy. So
Yeah,
Nick's awesome.
he's been really supportive about this project, and I so much appreciate it. I never would have thought that real Lego designers would be interested in this.
Yeah, well, him and Neek, Tooth Dominoes, they're both pretty stoked about it. I mean, obviously, Neek put a Bionicle reference in the school bus from Hidden Side, which I recommend, by the way, as a set unrelated to the sticker. It's a really good set, and of course the Ninjago City and docks. So, okay, Tesla Effect asks, if the project doesn't pass or even get the support, what would that mean for Bionicle? Would Bionicle even be worth getting back if even the fans don't want it that much?
It would definitely show that the fans don't care as much as they could, I'd say. Because we know there are enough people out there who are in Bionicle communities. And it either means they aren't willing to accept system or changed version of Bionicle, which is fair if they don't want it. But it also means they are not too interested in showing Lego their support, I think. That's what it would mean for me, at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was something we kind of touched upon in the latest episode of the TTV podcast, where the video that Meso and I made on the TTV channel about a week ago to kind of start garnering support for the project, it's sitting at 22,000 views. The goal is 10,000.
Yeah.
This video got to 10,000 like within a day or two of the video being put up. If every person who watched it supported the project, it would be done. And now, since it has double what you would need for a project, the rest of those folks could be siphoned over to another project, and we could have another one pushed through. And the fact that didn't translate properly into the support, it means a couple of things. There are a few possibilities. It means either A, people really just do not care about Bionicle. B, they don't care about System Bionicle. C, they don't care about this project specifically, which I don't understand why. I think it's a really good anniversary set. And 4, they're just lazy. It's one of those 4 things.
I think honestly, I've got a pretty good look at the support accounts. I get notifications how many supporters I gain, and I think it's a lot of the people. It's the 4th one. They're just they don't go to ideas and press on support. When I posted the model to Reddit on the first day, I had for quite a time more upvotes on Reddit than supporters on the project. So this shows, okay, they like the project enough to press upvote on Reddit, but they don't take the time to support it on Lego Ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's, for a lot of people, it's taking the time to going to Ideas, maybe even making an account to support it, but it's the thing we need to show to Lego that people are still interested. Mm-hmm. The other numbers don't really count for anything. Only the supporters count.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and I agree. And it's really unfortunate, too. Because not only did that video get 22,000 views, but there was, oh gosh, I can't recall his name, Oboshu
Games.
There we go. Yeah, he on his second channel, he posted like 2-3 videos about it. And I'm pretty sure that channel gets a lot more activity than the TTV channel. So
he's been helping me out really a lot with his videos.
It's awesome. I gotta invite him on.
You should invite him on. He's such a funny person. He's definitely won a new fan in me. So I like his videos.
That's awesome. I remember he made a video responding to the controversy.
Oh, it's so
about
good.
canon inaccuracies. And now, see, I gotta get after him for how he pronounces Liwa. It's like, alright, listen here, buddy.
Hey LJ, have you seen this new these songs from that Bionicle musical from the Legoland that got like released?
I saw him. I saw him before I went to Brick Fair in August, and I showed him to some of the folks there, and they were just like, "What is this?"
So crazy,
Dude,
but I was
it's amazing.
instantly thinking about you when I heard how they pronounced Liwa.
It drove me nuts. It drove me absolutely through the gosh dang roof. Listen, Lego. You were consistent in G2. They were. They were entirely consistent. They said Liwa the entire time. And listen, the name is spelled the exact gosh dang same. So just, you know what, Lego? This is what I want. I want this set. And when you release this set, I want you to re-release one of the encyclopedias and fix how you pronounce the gosh dang name, okay? Greg pronounces it that way. Alistair Swinnerton pronounces it that way. He named Liwa and he says it that way. And he said when he looked it up, that's how it said it was pronounced. It's pronounced Liwa. Gosh dang it. Do I need to go get a bullet point list of reasons why it's Liwa? Gosh darn it. I'm sorry.
It's Liwa though.
I'm gonna have to make a video, an apology video for my outburst on the Eljay Johnsen Show.
Addressing the controversy.
Okay. More questions. The Dark Master asks, does Sokoda think the Ice Emperor is Zane?
I think he is, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
There's a lot of things like hinting in that direction, and I'm very excited how they're gonna pull it off because Zane is my favorite Ninjago character, so let's see how all it will go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Also, to everyone in the chat trying to tell me how Liwa is pronounced. You're all wrong. All of you. Every single last one of you are wrong. It's Liwa. The official pronunciation is Liwa. You can say it however you want. But the creators have spoken, and gosh freaking dang it. It's Liwa. It was said Liwa in the movie. It said Liwa in Generation 2. Consistently. And then Dark Nova says an official statement regarding LJ. Gosh dang it, not again.
Not again.
Alright. Enough of this. We can have an entire Liwa discussion another time. Let me see here. Alright. Oh, no. Lost my place. Come on. Alright, the Dark Master asks, what is Sokoda's opinion of some of the other idea sets currently being success? I don't know what that means, so we're gonna just boil it down to what do you think of the other ideas projects, and what do you think of General Machia?
General Machia? Okay, so about the other ideas projects, I support them all. I want to show Lego that we want Bionicle and I support all the projects. I think some of them are a bit unrealistic to really happening, especially the ones who, or basically all of them that are up there, use old molds in some way, shape, or form, and I don't think it's very likely to be made a real set because of that. And I think the best chances might have the brick-built Matanui robot. He'd have to change up that head maybe to make a system, but then I think it could work. So yeah, I support all the project up there. I want Lego to see me like Bionicle.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree, and I've been trying to stress this, and it's not neither or. Support all of them. I just want to kind of focus on one first, so that way, like, everyone can get one through, and we can actually have the first Bionicle Ideas project to
In the
pass
review stage, yeah.
yeah, in the review stage, and then we can move on to the others. I just think that yours has the greatest chance of success because of its presentation, its design, and its concept.
Yeah, I think it's just simply the fact that I don't use old construction pieces or they're not necessary here is making it have a bit of a better chance. Not to bag on the other sets, I really like them, but we know that they don't have the molds anymore.
Yeah. So I want to start showcasing the others as well. I just want to focus on this one first, and then we can start working toward the others. But I definitely agree with you. No. Okay. Also in the chat, listen. I don't want anyone to feel bad about how they pronounce the Toamata of Air's name. You can pronounce it however you want, and I will not shame you for it. It is totally up to you. Bionicle names are confusing. They can be very similar, like Malum and Melum, and Bionicle wasn't exactly consistent with how they should be said, as is evidenced by the worst offender, the Toamata of Air. I just prefer to pronounce it Liwa. That's how I've always said it. I got that from the movie. I got that from Greg. And I got that from Alistair Swinnerton. And that's just me. But if you want to pronounce it Lua, Lewa, or Lewa, do it. And don't let anyone stop you. And I mean it. Next question from Professor Sirlojan. He asks, first, if I can spread the key forward card questions to the other cast, I will do my best. And then secondly, Sokoda, do you have a favorite card game or board game? Which is a really cool question.
I'm a big fan of board games. I like playing board games. And I think my favorite one is Risk. I love playing Risk and like alterations of Risk, like Risk Evolution and weird stuff like that. So I'm a huge board game fan. Yeah.
No, I like board games. I don't play enough of them. Board games are fun. I'm an outlier. I like Monopoly the most, though. That's one of my favorites, and I enjoy it thoroughly. So we will go ahead and make these next three the last ones. First of all, the Crimson Captain, and Tesla, I see your question. I just want to get this one first. The Crimson Captain asks, what's your favorite season of Ninjago? The question applies to both of you.
My favorite season, I think it's Hunted. I really liked Hunted, how it kept up the tension and there was a lot happening. And I think Hunted was, for me, Ninjago at the peak. In means of action and drama going on. So I think Hunted is my favorite season.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can get behind that. My favorite has always been a running gun battle between Rebooted and Skybound. And I think I lean a lot more towards Skybound. I really like that season in almost its entirety.
Yeah, I think Rebooted, the beginning isn't that great, but it gets really cool in the end. So I can get it, but I think the beginning is what makes Rebooted not to be like one of my favorite seasons. But they really nailed that ending, so yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really solid ending. So, all right, these will be the last two questions. So Tesla asks, LJ, imagine having all 4 Bionicle projects in the same review stage. Wouldn't that be awkward? Yes, and I'm actually trying to avoid that. I don't think that it would be wise to have all 4 of the projects in the same review stage. I think it would be best to have them kind of... What I mentioned in my update video was I'd like to see Bionicle become a regular name, a consistent name in the review stages. In the in the different stages. So, you have the 2019, first half 2019 review grouping that I think is coming next year, early next year. Is that right, Sokoda?
I think it's in January.
Okay, yeah. And then you have, latter half 2019 in the latter half of 2020. I'd like to see at least like a Bionicle project in every one of those review groupings, because then it becomes a regular thing. And if something keeps on popping up enough, they're going to notice and going to be like, all right, this keeps on showing up. This specific theme keeps on showing up in our review stages. So clearly there is a demand. It's gotten to 10,000 this time. So I think that would be ideal, probably. All right. And so this is going to be the last question. And then we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. Tesla Effect asks, Sokoda, what do you think of potentially going up against the Planet Express ship for Project Acceptance, the project that just passed the 10,000K line?
So,
Or the 10K line.
I don't think it's like really a fight, because we have seen it's getting more and more often that they pick multiple projects in every review season. So I don't think that they affect each other too much. If both are possible, they might do both. So I don't think it's really a fight where we go up against another project.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree. Because like last time, the latest review stage, 3 different sets were pushed through as official, or 3 projects were pushed through as sets. One of them, admittedly, was from the prior review stage, but that still means you have 2 from this one.
Yeah. So it's not a fight. It's they look what's possible, and I think those they'll do.
Mm-hmm. And then heck, I mean, there's still a third from this review stage. It's in consideration. They just need to figure out whether or not logistically it's possible. So, yeah, no, I agree. I don't think there's a whole lot of concern there. Yeah. Okay, I think that about wraps that portion up. Sokoda, is there anything you'd like to say to anyone listening that maybe isn't sure if they want to support it yet? Maybe they're on the fence. Is there anything you would say to them that would help them decide one way or the other, or to encourage people who are in support of the set?
I just want to say, I mean, supporting it won't hurt you in any way, and it will show Lego that there's interest in Bionicle, definitely. And supporting it won't cost you anything. It won't take much time. Making an account is pretty easy, honestly. And so if you want to show support for Bionicle to Lego, it's basically your best chance right now with all the ideas projects. And you can support all of them. You don't have to decide. There's really nothing to lose. And we can only win by showing Lego that there's still a group that's very interested in Bionicle. And I think we are very interested in Bionicle coming back in some kind of form. So please just take the time to support it. It's really the thing that it's the best way we ever had, basically, to show Lego our interest.
Yeah. No, I couldn't have said it better. So, all right. In that case, that'll about do it. Also, Crimson Captain says you type loud. Kinda. I type loud, but the microphone's also very sensitive, so it just picks it up. It's a mechanical keyboard. I like the sound. Okay? Gosh. Oh, no. All right. Well, in that case, Sokoda, thank you so much for taking the time here today and for showing us that Tahu earlier. That was really cool, and I always appreciate talking to you because you're always a wealth of inspiration, of information, and it's always really fun to chat with you about stuff like this.
Thank you so much for having me. If you ever want to talk, I'd be down. I love being here and talking about Lego stuff. I'm very passionate about all that kind of stuff. Lego, Ninjago, Star Wars, whatever.
Yeah. Also, we still need to play Overwatch.
Yeah.
The only reason I haven't been able to is because I've been busy.
Yeah, and it's always also a bit hard because of the time zones. So, yeah.
No, actually, so I have a 4-day weekend coming up next weekend. So I will try to send you a message to see if we can hang out and play a little bit of Overwatch, because I still need to
Cool.
I still need to do some competitive work.
I'm not too much into competitive. I gotta say that before
What?
we.
What's that? You
I'm
you really love competitive?
not.
You play at a diamond level? Wow, that's really impressive. I guess we're gonna do that
Okay.
then. I'm kidding. All right. Well, in that case, Koda, I will ask: is there anywhere on social media you would like people to follow you at?
Yeah, so on Twitter, Twitter is my main place where I share all my mocks, and now since this started, my updates for my Lego Ideas project. So if you want to stay informed, that's probably the best place. I have a YouTube channel with now 2 videos on it. Also, Twitter is at the Sokoda, YouTube is just Sokoda, and on the TTV message board, if anyone wants to discuss something, you can write me there as well. So yeah, that's basically it.
All right. Fantastic. In that case, links to both of those will, of course, be in the description below. I highly recommend going to check them out. And again, the link to support the project will be there as well. And fun fact, this is not a paid promotion. I just really like this concept. So, all right. Thanks so much, man. I do appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really like the show. I always listen when I'm not on myself, so I'd be in the chat right now if I wasn't here.
I'm glad to hear it. All right. And thank you to all of you who listened in or tuned in, either the live version or the recorded one. I do greatly appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. This has been yet another episode of The Eljay Johnsen Show. The show airs every single weekend, every Sunday at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, unless specified otherwise, over on Twitter at The Eljay Johnsen, where you can find updates, guest announcements, and more every single Wednesday. And if you have any questions over the week, make sure you head on over to my email, ljjohnson@gmail.com. Remember, that's JOHNSEN. All right, that'll do it. Once again, thank you all so very much for listening, and see you all next time. Have a wonderful day.